Article 3 of RA 544 covers examination, registration, and certification in civil engineering profession. This is CE Laws, Contracts, and Ethics. Article 3 starts with Section 10, which states that all applicants for registration for the practice of civil engineering shall be required to pass a technical examination as provided. With the requirement to take the board examination for civil engineers, there is also Republic Act No. 1080, which is an act declaring the bar and board examinations as civil service examinations. This is approved on the 15th of June 1954, and the Act automatically grants passers of bar examination conducted by the Supreme Court and of licensure board examinations administered by the Professional Regulation Commission. Individuals who pass the board examinations need not take the civil service exams to be eligible for the following positions: city planner, structural engineer, traffic engineer, water resources engineer, and other similar positions. Section 11 covers the holdings of examination. In the original RA 544, examination of candidates desiring to practice civil engineering in the Philippines was in the city of Manila beginning the second Monday of February and August. The development of the profession has spread the holdings to other 4 key cities in Luzon, namely Baguio, Tuguegarao, Lucena, and Legazpi, apart from Manila. 3 cities in Visayas, Iloilo, Tacloban, and Cebu. Then another 3 in Mindanao, namely Cagayan de Oro, Zamboanga, and Davao. The dates also move to May and November every year. Applicants for registration for the practice of civil engineering shall be examined in the discretion of the board. The examination is divided into 3 categories, which are mathematics, surveying, and transportation engineering, hydraulics and geotechnical engineering, and structural engineering and construction, where the proportions are 35% for mathematics, 30% for hydraulics and geotechnical engineering, and 35% again for structural engineering and construction. To be able to pass, candidates should have a minimum general grade of 70%, where they should get 50% minimum grade in any subject. Resolution number 2, which was approved in Manila on the 28th day of February 1995, discusses the subjects covered for the examination, namely general civil engineering like mathematics and surveying, construction management and engineering for design and construction, transportation engineering, structural engineering, and geotechnical engineering, and water resources and hydraulics. Specific topics covered for each subject are enumerated in Resolution number 2. Also stipulated in Resolution 2, unless otherwise officially announced, the examination shall be totally computerized. The board shall provide a minimum of 500 questions for each subject, from which the computer of the commission will select at random on the day or a few days prior to the examination the questions to be given. The number of questions for each subject shall not be less than 20 at 4 points each. The maximum number of questions shall not be more than 100 at 1 point each. The examination shall be closed books and notes. Examinees shall be given 10 computation and scratch sheets, which must be submitted with the answer sheets. Any person applying for admission to the civil engineering examination, as provided, shall, prior to the date of the examination, establish to the satisfaction of the board that he or she has the following qualifications. First, be at least 21 years of age. Second, be a citizen of the Philippines. Third, be of good reputation and moral character. And last, be a holder of the bachelor's degree in civil engineering from a recognized and legally constituted school, institute, college, or university. The documents that are required for candidates of the examination are NSO or PSA birth certificate, NSO or PSA marriage contract for married female candidates, transcript of records stamped with for board examination purposes, NBI clearance, 2 certificates of good moral character coming from either the barangay, church, school, or employer. All successful candidates in the examination shall be required to take the professional oath before the board or other government officials authorized by the Commission to administer oaths prior to issuance of the certificate of registration. Individual certificates of registration shall be issued by the board and the Commission to all successful candidates in the examinations and who have taken the professional oath, subject to payment of required fees prescribed by the Commission. The certificate shall be the authority to practice, but may be suspended or revoked by the board and the Commission for just cause, as may be provided by law after due notice and hearing. All registered civil engineers shall automatically become members of the Philippine Institute of Civil Engineers, which is the accredited professional organization of civil engineers, and shall comply with all the membership requirements therein. Individual professional identification cards shall be issued by the Commission to all registered civil engineers, each card to bear the name and picture of a registrant, registration number, date of issuance of card, expiry date of card, and signature of the chairman of the Commission. No professional identification card shall be issued to the new registrant unless he or she represents a certificate of active membership in good standing issued by the PICE. The same certificate shall be required before the board, and the Commission shall renew the professional card of a registered civil engineer. In all documents, the civil engineer should affix his signature and seal with the following data: PRC registration number placed in the registration certificate and the professional ID card, his professional tax receipt or PTR, his tax identification number, the place of issue of his PTR, and the date of its issue. According to BIR, a licensed professional can only become legally practicing the profession if he or she has the professional tax receipt or PTR. The PTR is the proof that a professional is practicing the profession for a specific year. All civil engineers shall obtain a seal of such design as the board shall authorize and direct, provided, however, that the serial number of the certificate issued by the board shall be included in the design of the seal. Plans and specifications prepared by or under the direct supervision of a civil engineer shall be stamped with the said seal during the life of the registrant's certificate. The board shall not issue a certificate of registration to any person convicted by a court of competent jurisdiction of any criminal offense involving moral turpitude, or to any person guilty of immoral or dishonorable conduct, or to any person of unsound mind. The board shall not issue a certificate to any person who has not taken the oath of civil engineers. In the event of a refusal to issue a certificate to any person, the board shall give to the applicant a written statement setting forth its reason for such action, which statement shall be incorporated in the records of the board. Subject to the approval of the Commission, the board shall have the power, after due notice and hearing showing the registrant the opportunity to defend himself or herself in a proper administrative investigation by the board, to suspend or revoke the certificate of registration for any cause mentioned in the preceding section, to suspend or revoke the certificate due to the registrant's malpractice, non-professional, ethical, immoral, dishonorable conduct, or non-membership in good standing in PICE for 3 consecutive years. When the certificate of registration is suspended or revoked, the professional identification card shall be ordered cancelled by the chairman of the Commission. The board may, after expiration of 1 year from the date of certificate of registration is revoked and for reasons it may deem sufficient, entertain an application for a new certificate of registration from the registrant concerned. Such application shall be accomplished in the same form prescribed for examination, but the board may, in its discretion, exempt the applicant from taking the requisite examination. The corresponding application for professional identification card shall be accomplished in the same form prescribed for renewal. All registered civil engineers shall maintain a program of professional development to promote public interest and to safeguard life, health, and property. The PICE shall have the responsibility of developing a continuing professional development program for civil engineers. Other entities or organizations may become CPD providers upon accreditation by PICE and the board. During the transition period, PRC will relax its CPD requirements for professionals who will renew their licenses. Under the old resolution, the minimum CPD requirements is 45 units. However, during the transition period, the required CPD credit units shall be reduced to a minimum of 15 units. In order to encourage the continuing professional development of registered civil engineers, the PICE, which is the accredited professional organization of civil engineers, shall be vested with authority conformable with the provisions of this Act to issue, suspend, and revoke a certificate of specialization to a registered civil engineer who has demonstrated his advanced knowledge, experience, education, and training in a recognized branch of civil engineering, provided that at the initial effectivity of this Act, only specialists in each recognized branch of specialization may form a specialty organization of civil engineering or SOCE, provided that this SOCE is affiliated to and recognized by the PICE, provided further there is only one SOCE professional organization. The holder of such a certificate of specialization may use the specialist title in the signing of relevant plans and documents. Individual Specialist Identification Card shall be issued by PICE to all registered civil engineers with certificate of specialization and renewed in accordance with PICE requirements for renewal. Upon the effectivity of this Act, all civil engineers duly registered under the provisions of Republic Act 544, as amended, shall automatically retain their registered status as if they are registered under the provisions hereof. Certificates of registration held by such persons in good standing shall have the same force and effect as though the same have been issued under the same provisions of this Act. Certificates of recognition for advanced studies, research, or highly specialized training in any specialist branch of civil engineering issued to registered civil engineers under Republic Act 544 shall be replaced by equivalent certificates of specialization by PICE. Likewise, certificates of specialization previously issued by PICE shall have the same force and effect as though the same have been issued under the same provision of this Act.